Hey everybody, Mr. W here. Today's lesson is how to make reciprocals for fractions and whole numbers. So what is a reciprocal? A reciprocal is when we flip a fraction over. For example, 2/5, if we take that and invert it or flip it over, we would get 5/2, and that's a reciprocal. What we did is we took the numerator and put it on the bottom, and then take the denominator of the original fraction and put that on the top. What we get is 5/2 is the reciprocal of the original fraction, 2/5. A reciprocal is also a multiplicative inverse, which means that if we multiply the original fraction times the reciprocal that we write, it will equal 1 whole. For example, if we multiply 2 times 5, that would be 10 on the top, and then our denominators, 5 times 2 is 10 on the bottom. We get 10/10, which is a whole fraction, which is going to equal 1 whole. To make reciprocals for fractions, again, we take the 1/3. In this case, we just flip it over, and we flipped our numerator and our denominator to get our reciprocal of 3/1, and you can check it by multiplying to get 3/3, which would be equal to 1 whole. For whole numbers, for example, 5, we need to change the 5 into fraction form, so we would write that as 5/1. That is equal to 5 because 5 divided by 1 is 5. We're going to take 5/1, and just like last time, we're going to flip it over to 1/5. Notice that we switched our numerator and denominator like last time. We can check to make sure we did it correctly, and we have a whole fraction which equals 1. Okay, let's do some problems. Directions: write the reciprocal for each. Pause for a moment if you like. Okay, how did you do? Number 1, 7/8. The reciprocal, if we flip it, would be 8/7. And if we check it with multiplication, we would get a whole fraction of 56/56, which is equal to 1 whole. Number 2, 12 is a whole number. We rewrite that as a fraction, take that and flip it, and we get 1/12, and that's the answer. That's the reciprocal. And we could check it and make sure by multiplication. Number 3, 4/10. We would flip that and get the reciprocal of 10/4. We could check our work by multiplication to see if we get a whole fraction. And finally, number 4, the 6 is a whole number, so we write that as a fraction, take that fraction, flip it, and get 1/6, which would be our answer. That's the reciprocal. We check it by multiplying and get 6/6. Well, if you made it this far for reciprocals today, great job. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next lesson.